All right, all right. Just going to be making sure that the sound is coming through clear, the video's coming through clear, and then I will get it going. All right. Rundown a little bit of a. I see Amir or Adam. I'm not sure which one of the brothers it is in the chat. How's it going, man? Appreciate you for joining us on this live stream. Very, very excited. We got a little bit of a, I don't want to say too much of a special one because it is the Community Shield after all. It's not the most electric competition in the world, obviously, but with the Community Shield, obviously, it's the start of the new Premier League season. You said Amir, what's going on, Amir? Um, with the start of the Premier League season just around the corner, obviously. Um, Very, very exciting. Very, very much looking forward to the game tomorrow. We got some topics that obviously I'm excited to talk about today. The Community Shield's going to be a big one. However, I will be doing a live watch along of the Community Shield tomorrow as well. So, we'll talk about that a little bit today. We'll talk about some other topics, given that it is the beginning of the Premier League season. We're going to talk about who we think is going to win the Prem and what other teams we think have a good chance at winning. Obviously, there's definitely some front runners, definitely some dark horses. Very much looking forward to all the stuff today in our topics on the show, and then also too coming over from yesterday's show that we did yesterday evening here in the States. Looking forward to talking about who maybe will potentially win the Ballon d'Or. Destroyed Guy says, hi, what's going on, Destroyed Guy? Good to see you down below in the chat. Yeah, obviously, I kind of messed up with the order of things. I think I'm going to start out the conversation for today's stream talking about the Community Shield because it's tomorrow. And, you know, look, the Community Shield is not the most electric competition in world football, let alone in the Premier League for Premier League teams. But it is somewhat important. I think it's an opportunity, especially as a Liverpool fan, looking ahead at the upcoming season as to who could be a potential who could be potentially starting for Liverpool and who could be important going forward. Amir said, "Look at my message." All right, Amir, I'll kick it off with this message, and then I'm going to be taking any additional messages in the in later into the stream. But I will play this one for you. Let's see what Amir has to say today on the stream.
No, dude, that's another match, dude. Three in a row. I'm actually surprised myself that I came to three live streams in a row. So they just came, and not only just came, I'm here to say hello, and I'm here to say hello to your live stream, to everyone in the live. I want to say I don't know how I'm like the first or second, the guy that came to your live stream talking about. I wanted to say something about yesterday because you've been talking about Sesko joining Man United. I want to say that I think it was good that Sesko joined Man United because Newcastle doesn't have much history, right? Bye, dude.
Thank you, Amir. Thank you for leaving another message for us today. I appreciate you always joining the stream as well. And yeah, I do think I know we talked about a little bit with the Sesko going to Manchester United thing. I agree with you. I think that the deal obviously I think was predicated on Sesko joining a team which has a little bit of a more storied history. I would say he said I am a United fan. Of course, I know that, Amir. Um, I think it came down to the fact that Manchester United are a bigger club. And I think it also comes down to the fact that Benjamin Sesko, only 22 years of age. I think he's got a lot left in his career to look forward to. And, while Manchester United have been on a skid over the past couple of seasons, they're not what they used to be, for sure. I do think it's important for him to look long term, and there's a potential for Manchester United to obviously return to the form that we knew them for historically, that I grew up watching. I'm a little bit older than you. When I was growing up, United were the best team in the Premier League, and at times they were one of the best teams in the world. Currently, that's not the case, of course, but I do believe, with some of the signings that they've made, I think I do think that there could be some improvements in the upcoming season for United. So I do agree with you there, Amir. Rasta Sox said, and good morning to you as well. He said, "Good morning. We just won another preseason trophy. It doesn't really count. I want this manager to win me a domestic trophy, preferably the FA Cup, of course." And I think that will. I think that's something to definitely look forward to. Just followed you on TikTok. I appreciate that, man. Appreciate you following me. Yeah, everyone joining live. I have my socials in the description. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Twitter as well, or X, depending on what you call it. I'm a little bit of an old head, so I still call it Twitter. So yeah, definitely go check out my socials as well. I appreciate that. I followed you back on Twitter yesterday, Rasta Stocks, and of course, I'll follow you back on TikTok as well, my man. Yeah, I think for United, before we get into the I keep calling the Community Shield the Carabao Cup. I think it's just because they both have C's in their name, and I just do that all the time for that reason. Yeah, I do think domestically, United should be looking forward to domestic competitions. Obviously, the Premier League will probably not will probably not be a realistic expectation for United, but I do think that in a lot of respects, you as United fans, you guys have to put an emphasis on the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup more than you probably would have, because you just don't have Europe. So yeah, I do think that comparatively to the other big six teams, or the big teams in the Premier League, there's a lot of European competition going around. So I definitely think you guys should put a heavy emphasis on domestic trophies this upcoming season, and improving your stance in the Premier League. Yeah, for sure. I definitely think that's the case. We were just talking about a little bit earlier in the stream. Adam put a call into the speak pipe for today. Amir, sorry, I always mix him up with his brother. I always, he was talking about the Benjamin Sesko deal. I think that United have made some good moves, spent a lot of money, and there's a potential for United to make a couple big moves again. This transfer window as it's coming to a close in the coming weeks. Rasta Stock says, "I want us to win the FA Cup so we could get at least Europa, because I feel like we're finishing in the top 10 based on what I've seen today against Fiorentina." Yeah, I think I definitely agree with you, dude. I definitely think you should be looking for those domestic cups, because it could really be an opportunity for you to get into Europe. The only thing I would say about that, man, is when it comes down to the domestic cups and the implication that they could have in Manchester United getting Europe, I think you can't put too much of an emphasis on that. I think when it comes down to United, I think we talked about it a little bit on the stream yesterday, that United put too much of not too much, it was a reasonable expectation on the Europa League last season, because it was the only way they could qualify for any sort of European competition at the tail end of last season. I think it's important for United to really focus on the potential for them to finish high in the table. Obviously, top 10 for sure. You should be looking to finish top 10, but I think United definitely should also look to, definitely finish high in the table and compete heavily deep into these domestic competitions. Absolutely, but you can't, like I said, you can't just bank on the fact that you'll be winning a trophy, and that will be how you'll qualify for Europe. I don't think that's the best move for United. I think the best move for United is obviously trying to finish high in the table. We talked about it yesterday that top 8 should be kind of the barrier or the expectation for United. The higher you go up from finishing top 8, I think will be, obviously a benefit and something that you would look fondly at. If United finished 6th after finishing 15th, I think that would be a really big improvement. But, also, too, on top of that, finishing below 8th would be something that you may want to take into consideration moving on from Amarim, because I think United need an impact now manager. I think he's the man for the job for you guys, but we'll have to wait and see how the results pan out. Moving on, I did want to talk a little bit about the Rostock said the midfield is a problem. I didn't watch the game today. You guys played. I wonder. Looking at the midfield that you guys have, Bruno Fernandes. Let me look into who United started today. If you could elaborate on who specifically is an issue for you guys in the midfield, because I think Bruno Fernandes obviously is a very, very good player. I think Kobe Mainu is a real good talent, but last season was a little bit of an off one. I wonder how much he's going to fit into Amarim's system moving forward. But I really think the biggest concern for United, and I know we talked about it yesterday, would be the goalkeeper. I think that you need a new goalkeeper for sure. We talked about the potential for Donnarumma. It looks like you guys finished the game on penalties. So it looks like you started Casemiro, Bruno, Dorgu on the left, Ahmad on the right, and then you brought in Kobe Mainu for Casemiro. Casemiro is a weird one because you invested so much money into Casemiro. I don't know. I don't know how you move on with him while still maintaining somewhat of that investment that you put into Casemiro, but rocket launcher captain. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see how United do. It's gonna be interesting to see how you do in the Premier League. The first game of the season for Manchester United, I just saw, will be against Arsenal. That's a tough one. It appears as though, is that home or away for you guys? Let me see here. You'll be playing at Old Trafford against Arsenal. The good and Casemiro's legs are gone. Yeah, his legs have not been good. But I think a big point when it comes down to the Casemiro thing is the fact that I think everyone knows that his legs are gone at this point. You need to move on. It's just a matter of how you move on. Honestly, Rostock. I think that's the case. But, playing the first game of the season against Arsenal at Old Trafford, the unfortunate reality of that situation, guys, is I think that a draw would be a really good result for you. A win would be tremendous. A loss wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but I think it's dependent on how big of a loss it is for you. Yeah. So, we'll just have to wait and see how that goes on. But moving on, I do want to move on a little bit from United to the Community Shield. As a point for anyone who's joining us on the stream, if I accidentally refer to the Community Shield as the Carabao Cup, I've been doing that constantly. It's because both competitions have a C in their name, and I'm dense in the head from time to time. So I apologize, and that is a point of clarification, just in case I say it. I think that this is a must-win for Liverpool. Not only do I think it's a must win. I also think that it's a. I want to see Liverpool be very very dominant in the Community Shield. I think we've invested a ton of money. I think it's an opportunity for us to show the depth that we currently have in our squad. I want to see several players get some opportunities. I want to see, you know, a couple, players get an opportunity to show themselves. Seems as though we've got a voicemail here from someone. The title is New Burner, so we're going to see what New Burner has to say. Hopefully it's not something heinous. New Burner.
Hey, Limo. Greetings from North Carolina. Big Reds fans here. Question: who do you think's going to be the biggest signing this year for the club?
I would say the biggest signing for Liverpool would be, I think if we sign Alexander Isak, that will be a big signing for the club. Obviously, that hasn't happened yet, but if we're going off only the signings that Liverpool have made thus far in the transfer window, not looking at the potential for players we could bring in, I think I would say Florian Wirtz is probably the biggest signing we've made coming from Bayer Leverkusen. I think, I think the amount of money we invested in him is really, really telling into how we feel he'll fit in the squad. I think it'll be interesting to see how he fits into the midfield. Obviously, we have, Dominic Soboslai, who has played historically over the past couple of seasons for Liverpool. So it'll be interesting to see if Florian Wirtz takes his spot, or if there's going to be a little bit of a transition from how we've normally lined up our center midfield, and if Florian will take Soboslai's spot, if we'll see Soboslai play a little bit more as number 8, or if we'll be looking to completely shift the midfield around a little bit. I think he's the one I look the most forward to. I think, but obviously, if Liverpool are to sign Alexander Isak, I think that will probably be the most exciting one that I'm looking forward to. It'll be interesting to see how the Isak situation pans out for Liverpool in the coming weeks. It's something that's been on again, off again. It's dependent on if Newcastle can bring in a new striker. We'll have to wait and see. But I would say New Burner. I would say that that would be the signing I'm the most eager to see, and that's not to say I'm obviously excited to see Frimpong play in the upcoming season, Kirkez as well, and Ekitike when he's able to get some time. But for me, Florian Wirtz is the interesting one because we've spent so much money on him as well. But I do think the likes of Frimpong and Kirkez are going to have to earn their spot. I think Frimpong looks extremely exciting, but we have another right back in Connor Bradley that we can't forget about. I think it'll be interesting to see how Slot manages both, Frimpong and Connor Bradley, because I think they have a different player profile. Frimpong being someone who is very energetic, very pacey, can get in behind, obviously, but Connor Bradley's a little bit more defensively sound. So those would probably, and then obviously Kirk has off of the left. We would expect we're investing I think it was like 50 some odd million or something into a new left back. We would expect him to be the starter, but it's going to be interesting to see how he plays alongside, or he plays in collaboration with Andy Robertson, because while Robertson has fallen off a little bit in his form over the past couple of seasons as he's gotten older, I do think we can't just take a step back and say, we can't just take a step back and say, oh, we're getting rid of Andy Robertson. He's not going to play anymore. There's so much experience there, and there's still legs there in the player. Rasta Stock says the best thing y'all could have done is getting rid of Darwin. He was a scrub. Well, he's not gone yet. That's the interesting thing is he's not gone yet. I know there's been rumors he's going to Saudi. Apparently there's been a deal agreed upon between Liverpool and Al Hilal, but it really comes down to if he wants to move. I don't know if that's his intention, if he definitely wants to move on from Liverpool at this time. It will be interesting. I know obviously a lot of people have negatives to say about Darwin Núñez, but I think he's a player that works hard. I think he does the hard parts of being a striker in the Premier League well, in terms of putting himself about the pitch. It's the final product that's always been an issue for Darwin. He's struggled with consistently putting the ball into the back of the net when we need him to, and for me that is a little bit of a red flag. You need to have the production to play at the highest level that is Liverpool. And the reality of the situation is he struggled to do so. So it'll be interesting to see how his future pans out at Liverpool. But from what I've seen, it appears he might be moving on. But I'll be interested to see if he does leave Liverpool. Or if he is going to leave Liverpool. I think it'll be telling how the squad looks for tomorrow in the Community Shield. Because if he's not in the team, I think that there is a chance that it's telling that he's going to be leaving. Amir said, guys, Bruno gave a painting to De Gea when Man United faced Fiorentina today. That's nice. Tell you what, Man United would probably want David De Gea in their squad in today's day and age. Kevin Jane says, you'll never walk alone. Absolutely, brother. Welcome to the chat, Kevin Jane. We got a call in here from Rasta Stocks. I'm going to play it right now. Here we go.
What's going on, bro? It's Rasta Stocks from New York. The Charity Shield match. Don't underestimate Crystal Palace, yeah? Because City underestimated them last season. And look what happened. Look what happened to City, yeah? That manager that Crystal Palace have, I think it was Frankfurt manager in the Bundesliga, and he won them a Europa League. I'm probably butchering the name, but yeah, man, don't underestimate them.
Definitely.
Don't underestimate them. They figured out Pep's system with no hesitation. So, yeah, and good luck.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate your call in, Rasta Stocks. I definitely agree with you. We can't overlook Palace. Palace, as it stands, there's been a couple players that have been linked to leave Palace. The likes of Guehi's been linked with Liverpool, Eze with Arsenal, and I think that would be a concern for Crystal Palace. But we really can't. I agree with you. We can't overlook Crystal Palace, and I don't think that they'll be that nervous for this game when, like you mentioned, they beat Manchester City in the FA Cup final. I think, obviously, I expect us to play well against Crystal Palace, and I think that part of my eagerness for the game tomorrow is I want to see Liverpool be fairly dominant, and the reason behind that is I think Crystal Palace is a really, really good competition to prove ourselves against. They are a really, really good team, but the reality is, Crystal Palace is a team that you're not going to go in, if you're playing them, whether home or away in the upcoming season, it's not going to be an easy 3 points. It's going to be a 3 points that you're going to have to work with. So playing Crystal Palace for me is indicative of a team we should get 3 points again, but it's definitely not guaranteed. So I want to see us go out, play well against them, be somewhat dominant, and get a very, very important win tomorrow, while also being able to display some of the talent that we brought in the transfer window and see what our starting lineup could be in the foreseeable future, and maybe some rotations that could be important for us moving forward. I think obviously there's 5 subs available now, not the 3 subs that I was accustomed to growing up. So I'm interested to see how that works. We got another call in here from Amir, the Limo fan. Amir, let's see what you got to say again, brother.
Well, I wanted to say that for me, the Premier League, I'll just say my top 5 or top 6. Yeah, I'll say the 6. For me, first would be Liverpool because they already have a good team. I'll say second, I'll actually say Man City because I don't think Arsenal have like the team now. Third will be Arsenal, in my opinion. Fourth will actually be Chelsea. Fifth, don't tell me how I'm thinking, Man United. And sixth is gonna be a little underdog story. I think Crystal Palace will get sick. They already got like good defenders, and they're not getting like subbed yet, and they're not getting like away from their respective clubs.
So I couldn't hear you too well on that call, Amir, but it sounds like you kind of were reiterating a little bit what Rasta Stocks had to say with Crystal Palace, potentially being an underdog. Yeah, I think it's a team we definitely can't overlook. I appreciate your call in, man. I apologize, I couldn't hear it that great. But yeah, I do agree with everything you had to say there. Look, the reality of the situation going into the Community Shield tomorrow is the Community Shield is a competition that it's not really that important. I would say that if Liverpool were playing, let's say, an Arsenal, a Manchester City, even a United or a Tottenham, a team which or Chelsea, teams that are really going to be tough competition in the foreseeable future, I think I would be a little bit more not wary or anything like that, but a little bit more understanding that it's not a result that if we lost, it's not the end of the world. But given the amount of money that we've invested into the team this summer transfer window, for me, to be honest with you guys, I think it's going to be a result that we need to get, and we need to be somewhat controlling of the game. Palace are a team that's really good in transition, so we'll have to see that, and they're also very good at the back. A big concern for me is our center backs, not Van Dijk or Kanate in general, just the depth that we have at center back. I don't think is good enough for the upcoming season. I'd like to see us sign another center back, and Mark Gahey at Crystal Palace is a player that I'd like to see come to Liverpool in the future. So that will be something that I'm interested in. I know obviously Arsenal are very interested in the likes of Eze at Crystal Palace as well. We'll just have to see how it goes down, but I do agree with all the sentiment kind of stating that from you guys in the voice chat that Crystal Palace aren't a team that we need to overlook. They've got a whole bunch of talent in their roster. So that'll be something. Amir said, "Bro, do you know I speak Italian?" Amir, very cool kind of fact. I went to Italy in late May. I actually went over to Puglia, Italy, in May. So I don't speak Italian, but I had to learn a little bit of the dialect and stuff like that in order to get along there. But that's awesome that you can speak Italian, dude. That's really, really cool. Also, too, from Amir, he said, when are you streaming tomorrow? So I believe, I just want to double check here for when the Community Shield is tomorrow, and that will be at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here in America, and I will be doing a live watch along of the of the game as well. So I will be streaming 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here in America. So keep an eye out for that for when we play the Community Shield, because I'll be doing a live watch along for that. Gonna be kind of cool. I did a live watch along ago. I did a live watch along when the World Cup final happened, when Chelsea played PSG. I had some really, really cool graphics on the screen and stuff like that. So definitely, if you guys haven't already, I know a few of you that are in the chat are already subscribed, but subscribe, click the notification bell so you know every time I make a new video or I enter into a new stream. because we'll be doing that. And I think that the layout of the, what you're seeing on your screen right now will be a little bit different. I'll have the live score going. I think I should have some kind of cool graphics for the team news when the starting lineups come out and stuff. If the game kicks off at 10 a.m., I would probably imagine that I would start going live around 9:45ish, maybe 9:30 if I want to kick it off a little bit early. So definitely mark that down. If you can't make it, obviously it's a full game potential. I believe a penalties and extra time if that happens. So I will be live streaming for that as well. So keep your eyes out. I also have another video that I have in the works that I'm editing currently. Keep an eye out for that too. And as always, subscribe, follow the socials, everything. Appreciate you guys. Bro, for me, it's 1600. So what would that be? 4 p.m.? Okay, yeah. That's cool, man. Yeah, well, definitely join in. Like I said, it's going to be around the kickoff of the Community Shield. So, figure 30 minutes to 15 minutes before kickoff, I'll be going live. Kind of give you the team news, give you my breakdown of what I expect from the starting lineups and things of that nature. Very, very excited for it. Very, very excited for the Premier League to be coming up as well. And with that, I do anticipate doing watch-alongs for some of the games. Not all of them, but for some of the games I will be doing live watch-alongs when I can. Let me take a sip of my coffee here before I keep going. Because I live in Italy. What part of Italy do you live in, Amir? That's awesome, man. That's sick. Like I said, I just went to Italy in late May. I'm very, very excited for the Community Shield. Like I said, I don't want to overlook Crystal Palace. I think the reality of the situation is Crystal Palace are going to be going into this game, and it's going to be a bigger game or a bigger achievement for them to win the Community Shield than it would be for us. But on the alternative side of it, I think if Liverpool were to lose the Community Shield to Palace, it would be not the biggest concern in the world, but somewhat of a concern for Liverpool. Whereas if Crystal Palace were to lose the Community Shield, I don't think it would be that much of a concern. Amir said Lombardia. That's sick, man. I think... look, I'll be really interested to see how we line up because we have so much more depth and there's been changes to the team. I don't anticipate Darwin Núñez starting because of the potential of him being transferred from Liverpool. I think there's a really good opportunity for Ekitike to potentially start as our center forward. Off of the left, I think it will probably be Cody Gakpo. Obviously, I would expect to see Mohamed Salah off of the right. The center midfield, I would expect to see Gravenberch and McAllister, and then potentially even Florian Wirtz as the number 10, or there's a chance that we start Dominic Szoboszlai as our number 10, and we look to bring Florian Wirtz off of the bench. Another thing that I wouldn't be surprised to see is if Arne Slot wants to play Dominic Szoboszlai a little bit deeper into the midfield, maybe as a number 8 role, and give some rest to the likes of either Gravenberch or McAllister. If that was the case, I would think that maybe some rest would be given to McAllister, and I do think Gravenberch will be our holding midfielder. There's also a chance that we play a different formation, maybe a 4-2-3-1. We'll have to see how Arne lines it up, but I'm really, really excited to see the inclusion of some new players. We were talking about Jeremy Frimpong. Will Jeremy Frimpong be starting at right back, or will he opt to go with Connor Bradley, a little bit more of a defensive minded approach? On the left, I would expect to see Kirkes, but will he go with the experience of Andy Robertson and maybe bring Kirkes off the bench later into the game? And the goalkeeper, again, I would expect Alisson Becker, but if he wants to give some time to Marmadashvili, that's going to be so difficult for me to say. I wouldn't be surprised. I think Marmadashvili is a player that Liverpool have brought in and are looking to include for the future. I think Allison Becker is obviously really, really, a Liverpool legend at this point and someone who we should respect, and he'll obviously be our starter. But he is getting a little older, so you do have to wonder if this season, maybe next season, will be the last year of Allison Becker at Liverpool, and maybe we are looking to transition into a new uh, goalkeeper. I just got a notification on my phone from Fabrizio Romano that Malik Thio, I believe is how you say his last name, to Newcastle. Here we go, a new center back at Newcastle. That'll be really interesting to see. Any Newcastle fans, I'm sure, are just happy to see some signings come in for their team. Um, you know, I think that's definitely important for them as well, to bring in some new signings. But yeah, that's pretty much what, and I'll be interested in what you guys have to say about the Community Shield. Let me know down below in the comments if there's anything that you guys are interested to see for the Community Shield. Feel free to leave a voice note in the speak pipe that's down below in the description as well, and I'll air it live. I think we did just get another one from Amir, the Limo fan. So Amir, we're gonna play it for you right now. Here we go, Amir.
Bro, I'm so ready for this. I'm so ready for this for the community shield tomorrow. I'm so ready for it. I won this day for me because I live in Italy. The how can I say the no for me the community shield would be at 4 o'clock. So I can still come and maybe look at your stream.
Awesome.
If you were maybe sad that I wouldn't come, I will still come. Don't worry. I'm just still here to say, just here to say that I'm just ready for this. So ready for it. This how do I say it, for this community shield. Like Rastasdog said, to not underestimate Crystal Palace, and as he said it really correctly.
Definitely.
So, but I think my prediction it will be 2-2.
Oh,
Crystal Palace Liverpool will be 2-2, and Liverpool win on penalties because they got better penalty takers, right? So I'll see you in a bit when we see you. Look at my message.
awesome. Thank you for calling in again, Amir. Amir also said down below in the chat, bro, you're better than Fabrizio Romano. I don't think I have the contacts to break transfers as well as Fabrizio Romano. So I appreciate you telling me that I'm better than Fabrizio, but I don't know. He's really, really good at being able to break news, and contrary to popular belief, I don't have a lot of contacts from the players' agents or contacts at clubs in the Premier League. It'd be awesome if I did and I could do that. But I appreciate you, Amir, calling in again, man. Yeah, I think a 2-2 draw in full time as a Liverpool fan, I'm going to hope that that is not the case. Um, I definitely think that I hope that Liverpool will be pretty dominant. If I was to give my prediction for the Community Shield, I would say a 3-1 Liverpool win. Obviously, that's hopeful, and I don't want that to come across as though I am overlooking Crystal Palace in any way, shape, or form. I know that they're a really, really good squad, a really, really good team, but the reality of the situation is I think Liverpool coming off winning the Premier League and the signings that we've made, we can hope and we should as fans be looking at this from a perspective of this is a game we should win, and I'm hopeful that we do win. I'm hopeful that we put in a really, really good performance. I hope that Liverpool put the performance that I expect them. I expect possession to be primarily maintained by Liverpool, and any counterattacks that Crystal Palace could make on us, I'm hopeful that we would be able to withstand. Definitely not overlooking them. I think that, like I said a little bit earlier, they're a really, really good test for us because Crystal Palace are not a team that you can expect to get 3 points from on a weekly basis. So we'll just have to really go out, maintain our possession well, create our opportunities well, and finish them. That's going to be the key. Is when opportunities, because we're going to get several opportunities against Palace. So realistically, the important aspect of the game is that when we put ourselves into goal scoring opportunities, finish our chances appropriately, and yeah, I think that's definitely important. As always, guys, if you're watching along with us and you're not subscribed, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video as well. Let me know if you have any topics that you want to talk about down below in the chat, and as always, the call-in page is open as well. Yeah, I think kind of transitioning away from the Community Shield, as it is kind of the official start of the Premier League season. It's important for us to take a step back and say, who do we think is going to win the Premier League this upcoming season? For me, I think Liverpool obviously are the most likely to win the Premier League. In my opinion, I think this coming off of winning it last season, we should be the overall favorites. I think Manchester City have had an off season last year, and it's going to be really interesting to see how they bounce back. From what I've seen online, they have not looked great in preseason. I think they've lost a couple matches, which we would expect Manchester City to win. They brought in a couple signings as well this transfer window. So I believe Nori is one, Cherky is another, that are going to be interesting to see how they fit in Pep's system. A big one for me, guys, to be honest with you, is the loss of Rodri again for the beginning of the season. I believe he picked up a knock in preseason and will be out until mid-September. So that will be obviously a big loss for them, losing the former Ballon d'Or winner. But one guy I think that gets way overlooked is Erling Haaland, his ability to finish chances. While people will call Erling Haaland a tap-in merchant, for me, that's easier said than done. I think Erling Haaland finishes opportunities that fall to his feet, and that's one of the hardest things to do in the Premier League is score goals and finish opportunities. So looking at that, I think Erling Haaland will have a little bit of a bounce back year for Manchester City. I expect Manchester City to bounce back a little bit, but it's a little bit of a transition period for them as well. Arsenal obviously are always knocking on the door. They finished second in the past 3 seasons, if I'm not mistaken. So you always have to keep an eye out for Arsenal going into the Premier League. Another team that have made several big signings. The biggest one, obviously, Gyökeres coming in as their striker. He lit up the world in Portugal over the past couple of seasons, scoring just a ton of goals. So it'll be interesting to see how that works for Liverpool as well. But we will just have to see how he works out, because 27 years old is a player that I think needs to make an impact immediately for Arsenal, and we'll have to see if he's able to do so at the highest level in the Premier League. But Chelsea are my dark horse. Just putting that out there, guys. Chelsea are absolutely 110% my dark horse going into this season. We look at how Chelsea were in the Club World Cup, a team that honestly and truthfully we did not think were going to compete due to their form over the past couple of seasons, and they went into a final and dominated a team which was, I don't want to say unanimously, but well thought to be the best team in the world in Paris Saint-Germain. I think they not only beat PSG, but they were really, really dominant over PSG as well. And I think that is really, really important. All right, we got one more message here from Amir. Let's see what he has to say.
The only reason I said that your Fabrizio and they are better than Fabrizio Romano is because at least you don't spam here when you go every 30 seconds when a transfer is there. Like, you just said, oh, pretend Sesko joined Newcastle. Let's pretend about that. oh, and Sesko joins Newcastle, and you go straight for the details, and go straight for details. Like the striker, how he had an agreement with Newcastle, and it's the same thing for Fabrizio Romano, but he had a weak goal, and it actually disturbs me a little bit. Um, and so that's why I said they were better than Fabrizio Romano.
Well, I appreciate that, Mary. Yeah, no, I get it. I try to, whether I'm live streaming, making YouTube videos or TikToks, I try to provide a little bit of detail and also how it kind of affects the landscape of football in general. So I definitely appreciate that. I definitely do. Yeah, I think going back to the Premier League, I put out a video a while ago, or not a while ago, last week. If you guys haven't seen it, where I kind of ranked how I felt each player or each team would finish in the Premier League, given my 1 through 20 predictions officially. Obviously, there's still some time left in the transfer window, and some moves could, definitely have an impact on the predictions that I've made so far this season. But it really comes down to the fact that I think the top four will be Liverpool, Arsenal, and Manchester City. Outside of that, the four teams that I see finishing after those four clubs would be the likes of Newcastle, Newcastle, Manchester United, Spurs, and Aston Villa. Really, those that would be my top eight, and I think that could be mixed up in any way, shape, or form. Amir said, "Can I be your friend?" You're already my friend, man. You already join the streams all the time, brother. So I appreciate all the input that you put in the chat and stuff and calling in. So you're already my friend, man. Of course, I appreciate your input. If anyone else has anything, any topics related to football, related to the Community Shield, related to the upcoming Premier League season, please let me know down below in the chat. And obviously, I'll definitely cover them and stuff like that. So for sure, and shout out to Amir, always being active in the chat and stuff. But yeah, I think I'm very, very excited for the Community Shield tomorrow. I think it's going to be extremely interesting to see how Liverpool line up. As I mentioned, the signings that we've made are really, really, really going to have an opportunity to showcase themselves prior to when we officially begin the season. So that'll be really interesting. There's a couple players that I'm really, the preseason is really, really fun and everything, but I think sometimes it's far too often that we see people put way too much of an emphasis on the performance of teams in preseason, when I don't think it matters as much as a lot of people would like to say that it does. Preseason is an opportunity to give opportunity to players that have not had a chance to play for their respected clubs previously. One player in particular is the young 16-year-old Rio, who's played for Liverpool a lot this preseason, scored a couple big goals. While I think young Rio is a really, really good talent, and I think he's going to get some opportunities in the upcoming season, I think it will be primarily off the bench. And that goes also along with Rio, the likes of Trey Neone as well, who's a young player who's impressed me so far this preseason. But when it comes down to it, preseason is a lot of fun to watch, and it's a lot of fun to analyze some talent. Like I said, some talent that we normally don't have the opportunity to analyze, but it's important for us to recognize if players aren't playing at their best at preseason or if they're playing their best. It really all matters once we get into the season, and I think that is extremely important. So we'll have to see what is reflective from the preseason as well. So we will wait and see. But let me know what you guys think in the chat. I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say. Some of your opinions in the chat. It's really, really interesting to see what potential we have going into this upcoming season, going forward, how Liverpool are going to look. Doesn't have to be solely Liverpool related, obviously. Um, I'm interested in your guys' opinions on other clubs as well. We had a whole stream yesterday where we primarily talked about Manchester United, but Arsenal are a big team. Manchester City, Chelsea, as I mentioned. So let me know what you guys think in the chat, or if there's anything in particular that you guys want to talk about or want covered in this stream. We do have another voicemail. Limo is my friend. I'm going to assume this is again from Amir, so we'll play this again.
Limo, I want to ask you a super duper
Oh, it seemed. Hold on, my web
quick
browser. Oh,
question. I just wanted to ask you if maybe we can become friends. I've always so much of your content. I would really love so much if I was your friend because you're such a good YouTuber that always talks with his chat. Always sees his chat, happy with it. So I just want to say if I can maybe be your friend, maybe we can share some stuff in common. So that I would really like that. Thank you.
yeah, brother, you already are my friend. You already are my friend. I love having you call into the show and stuff like that. So I appreciate it. I saw Amir posted on his own YouTube channel yesterday. He posted a video where it was a clip of me, and he said YouTuber notices me or something along those lines. So I appreciate you using the clip. I'm always excited when Amir is in the chat. Yeah, you're the man, dude. You keep asking to be my friend like you aren't already my friend, dude. For sure, absolutely. Now I love when you come on and share stuff and things along those lines. So for sure, yeah, you're the man, Amir. No, you said thank you, brother. I appreciate all the support you give to the channel. You are the best, dude. So I definitely appreciate it. And shout out to you calling in from Italy. I really appreciate it, brother. But if there's anyone who has any other footballing related topics, we gotta know. I got to know what you guys think. Please let me know in the chat. Call in as well. The community shield obviously is the big talking point as we're going into the upcoming season. And if there's anything else you want to talk about, community shield related, world football related, anything in general, please let me know. I'm really excited to hear from you guys and what you have to say. I don't know how long I'm going to be streaming today because, obviously, as I mentioned, I'm going to be doing a live watch along yesterday. I streamed last night as well. So, yeah, definitely let me know what you guys think. And if there's anything in particular you want me to cover, anything you want me to talk about, I really appreciate it from all of you guys. So let me know. Obviously, I have my talking points up on the screen, but I don't like to limit that to the only things that I talk about. La Liga. La Liga for me, I think, is going to be a two-horse race this upcoming year. I think it's typically a two-horse race, obviously, but I think it's really going to come down to Barcelona and Real Madrid. Atletico, obviously, are always knocking on the door as well, but I do believe it'll be a two-horse race from Barca and Real Madrid. Barcelona made a couple moves in the transfer window. Obviously, bringing in Marcus Rashford on loan is a real interesting one for me as well. Real Madrid have brought in Trent Alexander-Arnold to my chagrin. Not really too happy how that whole situation has panned out, if I'm being entirely honest. But I think looking at the Trent situation at Real, I think it's either going to be a really good addition to the squad, or I think it's going to be a complete and utter flop because I think Trent is always a player from watching him over the past couple of seasons. I think he struggled in one-on-one situations, and I think that La Liga offers a lot more situations to where fullbacks have to defend in one-on-one situations. Now, to be fair, obviously, Real Madrid dominate a whole bunch of possession whenever they play against most oppositions, and that provides Trent the opportunity to really get his foot on the ball and make the passes that we know Trent Alexander-Arnold has become famous for. Excuse me. But that's not the part that interests me. The Trent going forward in La Liga, I think it will be similar to how he was in the Premier League. I think he'll have a lot of success, but defensively, I think it'll be interesting because the dynamic of La Liga is very heavy on one-on-one situations, and that's an area I think Trent has struggled with a lot, as I mentioned, and we'll have to wait and see how that fully pans out. I think when you go to La Liga, that's always something you have to take into consideration. He's not going to have to defend in a system to where he has to just track runners. He's going to have a lot of players that are going to look to take him on, and how he adjusts to that is going to be interesting. I think Real might adjust their system a little bit to suit Trent in that regard. So we'll have to see for sure how that entire situation pans out. But yeah, I do think it'll be a little bit more of a 2-horse race. Yeah, Amir said 3-horse race. Yeah, obviously I think Atletico obviously is knocking on the door a lot in La Liga. So there's a potential for it to become a 3-horse race for sure. But yeah, I think that it'll be interesting. But for me, La Liga isn't as electric as the Premier League due to the fact that the Premier League often has 4 or 5 teams which we could see really vying for the positions at the top of the table. That's not as much of a case in La Liga as it is in the Bundesliga, and definitely not in Liga 1 in France. So we'll have to wait and see. But I think the big La Liga teams for me will be interesting in how they play in Europe specifically, because I think that they'll be fairly dominant in La Liga. So their impact in Europe is more of something that interests me going forward. I will be honest with you. All right. What else do you guys have to say? What else? Looks like we got I'm tracking 13 viewers. So if you guys have anything else you want to talk about, please let me know. I covered a whole bunch in last night's stream talking about United specifically. It was very United focused. Obviously, the title of this stream is very Liverpool heavy with the Community Shield coming up. I said that Liverpool need to win the Community Shield. I think that that's still fairly accurate. I think it's against a team which we talked about a little bit earlier in the stream. We can't overlook the likes of Crystal Palace, but Crystal Palace are a team that, in my personal opinion, we should be looking to potentially dominate the game in terms of possession and finish off the opportunities that are presented to us. So, it'll be what it's going to be. I think it's a really interesting game. I'm so happy for 750 subs. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. We're knocking on the door of 760 subs now. So if you guys are watching along in the stream and you're not subscribed, I know Amir obviously subscribed. A couple of you other guys have subscribed to the channel, but if you haven't already, please make sure to do so. Like the video as well. I got a couple things cooking for future videos. I really love streaming. It's kind of something that I've been trying to do over the past month or two, to really get online and have an opportunity to speak to you guys and really engage with you, give you guys an opportunity to talk to me and go over some footballing topics that are interesting. They interest me. Seems like for a lot of you it interests you guys as well. So for sure, definitely, I'm definitely happy with the 750. I'm looking forward to hitting that 1,000 mark. I think that will be really cool once I get to 1,000, and that'll be a huge landmark. I've been making videos for probably going on 2 years, year and a half, 2 years or something like that. It's a really really interesting game. Very cool. Pie said, "What do you think of Man United?" You know what, man? I think a lot of people have, and we talked about it a lot yesterday, but I think United are a team that are in a transitional period. I really, really like the signings that United have made this transfer window. Obviously, Sesko is a big risk for United. Very cool. Pie. I think that it's a lot of money that you're investing into a player who hasn't played at the level of the Premier League yet. But what United have also done is they've supplemented that with players like Mbomo and Cunha who have played in the Premier League, and they're on top of that. Manchester United are looking at Baleba. They're looking at Premier League proven players, and I think that that's really really interesting because what United have struggled with over the past couple seasons is bringing in players that have not played in the Premier League previously, and they've struggled playing at that level. And I think investing maybe more money than they would have into players that haven't proven themselves. I think it's a real I think it'll be really really cool to see. Very cool. Pie said Hugo or Sesko, who will be better? Look, I think, and I had someone ask this yesterday in a stream where they asked me to rank Ekatike, Sesko, and Gyökeres in terms of how they will perform in the Premier League. And I am fortunately, as a Liverpool fan, I put Ekatike at third. And the reason I did so is if we are to sign Alexander Isak, I think Ekatike will either play off of the left or he'll have to earn his starting spot. So I think if you're looking at Ekatike in comparison to Sesko, Ekatike for me is a player that is really going to have to earn his spot in a harder team than it is for Sesko. If Sesko comes out in the beginning of the season and is firing on all cylinders, he's going to earn himself a spot a lot earlier than Ekatike. And I think that really comes into the dynamic when comparing the players in terms of how likely they are to immediately start for their respected clubs. I think Ekatike is going to have a harder job of earning his starting spot in a team that's coming off of winning the Premier League title and are going to be challenging for another Premier League and other trophies. Whereas Sesko is going to be coming into a team that realistically had one of their worst seasons in the past, and I think he'll be able to earn his starting spot in a lot easier. Very cool. Pie said Hugo ball carrying skill is crazy. It's really interesting because if you look at Ekatike, very tall and lanky player, but I agree with you. His dribbling ability and his ability to carry the ball into the attacking third looks really, really good. He looks extremely impressive. Very cool. Pie. I'd agree with you. I think he's a player I'm really really interested. Where I think Sesko is a little bit more of an old school center forward, so he's going to take the opportunity to put himself about the 18-yard box well and finish opportunities that come to him. I think that it's probably going to be a little bit more of a different player dynamic when comparing the two of them. Like I said, Sesko's a kind of old school center forward where you're not going to try to play him off of the wing at all. I don't think that's likely. Whereas Ekatike, I think he has the ability to potentially play all across that front three. And depending on if Liverpool are to bring in Alexander Isak, if they're to make any other moves this transfer window, which I don't think that they will in the front three if it's not Isak, I think it'll be interesting to see how Hugo plays. I think at their peak, I personally think Ekatike has a higher peak, but I think that going into this season at 22, and I think comparatively Sesko's 22, I think Sesko will get a lot more playing time, personally. That's just kind of my whole breakdown of the situation. You know. Oh, also Amir said, "Bro, if you get 1,000 subscribers and do a live, I will be there." I appreciate it, man. I really do. I really appreciate all the support that you give to the channel. So that's awesome. If there's any other topics you guys want to talk about, please let me know in the chat. I really enjoyed that. Asked for the comparison from Very Cool Pie as to who I think will be better. Let's see. We got another call in here from Amir.
Well, I wanted to say that I have a new video. I want to see if you can react on stream because you can't. I can't because the comments are are not enabled. So I would really like if you can maybe comment on the video. I would really thank if you would do it.
I'll watch the video after the stream, Amir. I couldn't comment on it yesterday, when you posted one yesterday, but I'll check it out after the stream, and I will leave a comment for sure. Very Cool Pie said, "Do you feel safe with Liverpool's defense?" I feel very safe with the depth that we have at right and left back. We have a lot of options at right and left back, obviously. Center backs are starters. I feel extremely safe with Konate and Van Dijk. But the reality is I think Liverpool need to bring in another center back as well to increase our depth. I think Mark Gahey has been someone we've been linked with for quite some time. We need to bring in another center back. Then I'll feel if we bring in one more center back, I really feel safe with Liverpool's back four. Definitely, I feel safe with our fullbacks. At right back, we have both Frimpong and Connor Bradley. At left back, we have the likes of Kirkes, Robertson, Simicus. I feel really safe with the depth. It's the depth that we have at center back which doesn't make me feel safe. Did you sub? Yes, I did sub, brother. Yeah, I think that when it comes down to it, I feel more safe with the likes of, our right and full backs and the depth that we have in both of those positions, whereas center back, I don't feel as safe, if I'm being honest. Especially with the potential for Konate to move on from the club after this season, I don't feel that safe currently. No, I don't. I definitely do not. And that's just honest. I'm being honest there. I don't feel safe with the depth that we have at center back. Let me know if you guys have any other topics that you want. It looks like we just got another subscriber too. So to whoever just subscribed to the channel, I really appreciate you guys. Let me know if there's any other topics that you guys want me to talk about before I jump off here. We're hitting it around the hour and 10 mark of this stream. As I mentioned, I'm going to be streaming tomorrow as well for a live watch along of the Community Shield. So please make sure you guys mark that. I will be watching along there as well. I won't be able to obviously show the game or anything like that, but I'll have some graphics to keep the score and everything. You'll be able to watch my live reactions to the game as well. I don't know. Very Cool Pie said, in my country, Liverpool fans are very low-key. What about yours? By the way, where are you from? I'm from America. I would say Liverpool are one of the biggest clubs in America. It kind of depends on your age, to be honest. So I am a little bit older. I'm 29. Well, I'll be 29 in about a month. I'm 28 right now. And my age group, there's not as many because when I was growing up, Liverpool weren't as good as they are now. Whereas I've noticed recently, over the past decade or so, there's been a lot more Liverpool fans in America. I think just with the success, in America, it really comes down to if you're a young kid and you're growing up, it's typical for you to support the best clubs in the Premier League or La Liga, wherever you really follow. And when I was growing up, Liverpool weren't one of the best teams. Now they obviously are. I think Manchester United and Chelsea fans were the most common in my age group. A little bit older than me, you had a lot more Arsenal fans because in the early 2000s they were so successful. And, after that, you have my age group, which are very United and Chelsea dominant. Then Liverpool on a lot of younger fans. All right, we have one. We have one more. Amir, I'll do one more call in from you on this stream. 20 seconds. Let's see.
I'm gonna say something. For Liverpool, I think next to Van Dijk will not be Konate because I have a prediction that maybe Konate will join Real Madrid. And two, I just wanted to ask Liverpool TV maybe sub to my channel because I want
Yeah,
to the day
Amir, I
just
think
don't
that
know
that
about
kind
that.
of the prediction for Kanate going to Real Madrid. I also think that that's a high likelihood. If that happens, I think it's going to happen after this season. So we do have Kanate for the remainder of this season, and I do expect him to remain as the starter. But it will be extremely interesting to see if we bring in any depth at our center back options. And what that would mean for the future of Kanate and his starting spot currently within the team. Oh, all right, guys, we are coming to the end of the stream right now. I appreciate all of you for joining me for this stream. If you haven't already done so, please make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel as well. I got some more content coming for you guys, so please be on the lookout for that. Like I said, I'm going to stream the Community Shield Final tomorrow. I hope all of you have a great day. Shout out to all you guys that have been active in the chat. I really do appreciate it. All of you have a great day. Take care. Peace.